In this video, you'll discover the truth on whether or not fruit is a problem in your diet. When it comes to healthy eating, it becomes so confusing. Should I be eating these foods? Should I be avoiding these foods? What can I eat? And then of course you go and you ask your friends, your coworkers, family members, and then they give you conflicting reports as well. One of the particular foods that I see a lot of people getting caught up in right now is the topic of fruit. Okay, so that's why in this video we're going to talk about, is fruit a problem on my diet? We're going to discuss, first of all, the benefits of fruit, the bad parts of fruit. We're going to discuss how fruit is actually broken down physiologically in the body, which is really important for you to understand. And then of course at the end of this video we'll discuss whether or not you should be eating fruit. So stick around to the end, but before we get started, I'm Dr. Zyrowski and welcome to the channel. If you're new to the channel, it is a pleasure to have you here. Be sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification, and join our notification community. That way I can help you excel your health and your life. Let's go ahead and dive in over here. I want to talk about, is fruit good or bad? Okay, we're gonna go through some different talking points here and try to really understand what's happening with this. Now, a basic understanding of fruit. So fruit is going to be relatively high in sugar, and it's high in a very particular type of sugar, and that sugar is called fructose. Now this fructose is no friend to the human body, right? Fructose causes insulin resistance, it causes fatty liver, it even is actually correlated with causing the hormone ghrelin to actually increase, causing you to want to eat more food and even become addicted to it. It actually acts on your brain in a way that causes a little bit of an addictive process. So fructose is not good for a lot of reasons. Now when we look at fruit, this fructose which is found in fruit, the fruit has lots of good fiber in it, lots of good micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, lots of good antioxidants. It's going to help reduce oxidative stress. It's going to do a lot of really good things for you. Now the other reason that fruit is so good is because it's a real whole food. When anybody tells you to eat a good whole food diet, right, they're telling you, make sure that you're eating lots of leafy greens, make sure that you're eating lots of good fruits. Well, that's part of it. And fruit is something that's right in nature. It's found in nature. I always tell people, eat foods that are found in nature, and fruit is one of them. And now it's great for a whole foods based diet because it's found in nature, it's just a natural food, and then of course it's not processed. So if we want to go and start following a healthy diet, we don't have to fall into some really strict diet and portion control and all that stuff, but what we do need to do is get rid of all the processed stuff and switch over to the good whole foods that are really healthy for you, and fruit is part of that. Now the other thing is, studies show many health benefits of fruit. I mean, whether it's balancing your cholesterol levels, whether it's helping you lose weight, whether it's reducing the risk of diabetes, these kinds of things, fruit is really good for you in so many different ways. So now you're probably so confused because I kind of just said fruit is bad, fruit is good, fruit is bad, fruit is good, and we went in this circle. And the thing is, I want you to be confused at this point because the general public is enormously confused over this topic because this is what they hear. They listen to one person, the fruit's bad, another person, fruit's good, and they go through this cycle and they just don't truly understand it. And so I understand why, maybe you're lost, or maybe a lot of people are really lost on this topic because it is so confusing when you listen to everybody out there. Let's go in a little bit further. And I want to talk about the physiology of how it's broken down, because this is really important, because this is one of the reasons that fruit is burdensome to the body. And this is why the topic of fructose is such a major concern. So let's talk about glucose. This is your typical table sugar. And let's talk about fructose, the sugar found in fruit. Now, when we look at glucose, it's absorbed in the small intestines. It goes directly to the cell. And this is a process that happens very fast, okay? So it's absorbed, goes right to the cell, raises your blood sugar rapidly, okay? Like I said, this is happening really quick, and because it's such a fast spike of glucose, essentially it's going to raise that blood sugar, and then it's going to stimulate the release of insulin, and it's going to spike your insulin in a huge way. The other thing it's going to do is, after it does that whole process, the insulin's going to go and put it into the cell, and it's going to be used as energy, okay? So you're going to use it in the moment, right now, for energy, or you're going to store it as glycogen. This is where most sugar is going for most people, is it's going to get stored. Now, when you're storing it, it's being stored in the liver, being stored in the muscle tissue, and it's just kind of waiting for you to actually need it. And most people, unfortunately, don't hardly get to a state where they need it, which is a problem. And then they start getting fat, they start gaining weight. Let's go ahead and talk about fructose. Now fructose, same process, absorbed in the small intestines. Now here's where it gets a little bit different. It's actually going to raise your blood sugar slowly. It's also going to raise your insulin levels very slowly as well. So it's not going to raise them rapidly. So it does that, very different than glucose. And then it has a long-term negative impact. And what that basically means is that glucose basically just flies into your system, raises up your blood sugar, raises up insulin levels, and then it starts to drop off. The problem with fructose is it just goes up and it stays up for a long period of time. Now, one of the things that is really key about understanding fructose is that it has to be converted in the liver to be utilized, right? Glucose, it just goes right in, goes right to the cell. It just, it just happens. Fructose, when you go and you digest it and it goes and absorbs into the small intestines, it has to go to the liver. It has to be converted so that it actually can be used as energy. And this is where it becomes very burdensome to the liver. This whole process is a huge burden to the liver. And this is why so many people are getting fatty liver deposits. This is why so many people are getting so many diseases. And this is why we have to be really concerned about fructose. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit further. We're going to talk about the good and the bad. Now, when we're talking about good, we're going to be talking about fruit in general, okay? Now, when we talk about fruit, you're going to find a lot of things in there, like a lot of good things, like I said, a lot of vitamins, minerals, these micronutrients, lots of fiber, antioxidants, right? The fiber is very important, right, for gut health, very important. Antioxidants are incredibly important for reducing oxidative stress, boosting your immune system, keeping you healthy, right, fighting off disease. The other thing that we know about fruit, and this fructose in fruit, is that it has been research proven to be highly beneficial. Okay, so once again, when we look at fruit, it has been proven time and time again, help balance cholesterol, help reverse cardiovascular problems, help, just keep you healthy. It even been shown if you increase, some of your fruit intake, some good healthy fruits that have a low glycemic index, it can actually even help you lose weight, okay? So that really just starts to confuse a lot of people, but the truth is that fruit has a lot of benefit to it. Now, of course, if we're talking fruit juice, that's not so great, like squeezing 8 oranges and then putting it into a cup and taking all the sugar out of the orange and drinking it, that's not healthy because you wouldn't go into nature and eat 8 oranges, would you? So that's not healthy, and it's also not healthy to grab a bag of dried fruit and eat that because that is just a huge sugar bomb. So those are 2 ways that eating fruit is not going to be healthy, but in general, this fruit is really good stuff, has a lot of benefits. Now let's talk about the bad, okay? This is the good fructose. Here's the bad fructose. Now, the bad fructose is going to be that high fructose corn syrup that you found in your sweet tea, that you found in your sodas, that you found in all these different sugary beverages, these energy drinks, right? And when you go and you drink this high amount, let's say it's 35 grams of high fructose corn syrup, combined with some caramel color, combined with some carbonation, do you think that's good for you? Absolutely not. Does it contain fiber, antioxidants, minerals, and vitamins? Absolutely not, okay? So this is bad stuff right here. And this is what people are getting confused right here. So the beverages is a big problem. What about condiments? Your ketchup, your mayonnaise, your salad dressings, all loaded with high fructose corn syrup and a ton of other really horrible ingredients. Lots of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants? No, not really. So condiments are a big problem. Canned goods, right? You go to the store, you pick up a can of tomatoes. Why is it loaded with high fructose corn syrup? Good question. Maybe to get you addicted to it, maybe so that you choose that brand over another one. And so canned goods, a lot of green beans, a lot of these different vegetables at the store have high fructose corn syrup in them and you don't even know it. Packaged foods, right? All the processed foods out there, we know that this stuff's in there. We know that, deep down we know. Sometimes we try to avoid thinking about it or actually acknowledging it, but we know it's there. And it's scientifically proven to cause major issues: non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, unbalanced cholesterol, you name it, brain conditions, neurological degeneration, you name it, lots of problems here, okay? Now let me ask you a question, and I'm serious. Do you think that people are developing all these issues because of the overconsumption of fruit? And the answer is no, absolutely not. Or are they getting this problem because they're consuming way too much fructose found in all these different things here as a way to sweeten them? Okay, so this is the problem. This is where the problem is coming from. It's not because of an overconsumption of fruit. It never has been, and it never will be. So in general, fruit is good and healthy for you. Now let's go and put this into context and talk about it a little bit further, because once again, it's very important to put all these topics into context and understand when you should avoid fruit, okay? So we just determined that the fructose found in fruit in general is pretty healthy, right? I mean, fruit is healthy stuff, right? Now the fructose, the high fructose corn syrup found in all the trash is unhealthy. Now there's a couple reasons you might want to avoid fruit in general. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Now, low carb diet, okay? If you're following a low carb diet, there's a good chance that you're gonna wanna stick to more berries, the berries that are going to have a low glycemic index, high different micronutrient capacity, but also you could slip in maybe a big fruit here and there, a banana, an apple, that kind of thing. And that's if you're following a low carb diet, about 100 grams of carbohydrates or less a day. Now if you're following a ketogenic diet, there's a good chance that you're going to stick to berries and you're going to stick to a small amount of berries, okay? So putting this into context, right? Is fruit bad for you? No, but if you want to follow one of these diets for a particular reason, you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to just stay healthy, that kind of thing, then fruit can be a problem there. Now, the next thing is hormone imbalance. Now, if you're someone who has sex hormone imbalance, let's say that you have thyroid problems, let's say that you have low testosterone levels, let's say you have high amounts of estrogen, or you just have hormone imbalance in general. Your metabolic hormones are all over the place. Insulin's through the roof, grelinin's through the roof, leptin's not being heard by the body. Then you want to make sure you're staying away from these big fruits that have a lot of fructose in them, right? Stick to the smaller fruits, the berries, loaded with micronutrients, lots of health benefits, lots of antioxidants. So that would be a reason. Insulin resistance is another reason that you might want to stay away from fruit in general, right? So stick to berries, stay away from the high fructose fruits, the high sugar fruits, the big ones. Fatty liver, okay, this is a major reason you'd want to stay away from fruit. If you're just trying to lose weight, if you're trying to lose weight, one of the things that is not going to work in your favor is eating a lot of fruit, because, if you're consuming all these different big fruits, high amounts of fructose, it's going to be very difficult to lose weight and is not going to really meet you at your goal. Digestive issues as well. Same thing, if you're on a low FODMAP diet, that kind of thing, you have some digestive issues you're working through, stay away from fruit for the time being. In most of these cases right here, you can still eat berries. You can still eat these berries that have low glycemic index, high antioxidant capacity, high micronutrient capacity, and it's completely good for you. So in general, right, is fruit bad for you? Absolutely not. Fruit is completely healthy. Now, are there reasons that you might not want to eat fruit at the time? Absolutely. Is there a period of your life where you're maybe going through something, or you're trying to reverse a condition where you should stay away from it? Absolutely. So you have to put this all in the proper context. You have to understand that fruit has fructose in it, yes, but it is not soda. It is not all this high fructose corn syrup, and this is not the reason. Eating too much fruit is not the reason, and never will be the reason, that people are facing so many different diseases today. Give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friend, and also put in the comment section below how you go about eating fruit. And check out this video I did right here that's going to teach you on portion control, which is very important for the average person. Look at it here. But the truth is that there's actually been some research done that show it's really not about physical activity. It's more about the fact that people are just eating more.